curved down. All of them turned down except for this little sharp one there. And I hadn't planned on putting that one in, Tom. I had it was going to stop right at the end of the primaries, and it just didn't look right. And then Vic says, "Well, why don't you just take and put an insert and have it come maybe an eighth of an inch over the primary,
Yeah.
the edge of the primary, said and it'll look a lot better." So that's what I did.
Bob, you can still curve the underside of that feather and kind of go with the flow, but a little bit better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
like the little one below it.
Yeah. This one here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I do that just to keep them all going. Yeah. You
Yeah.
know, anytime something changes direction, it catches the eye. And that's why everything has to flow together, you know? And yeah, you can throw it off a little bit just for variation, but when you got something sudden, like you've got a nice pretty curve, and all of a sudden you got a glitch in it, you know, it translates in the up here in the head as ugly. You don't want the eyes to have to struggle anywhere on the bird. It would be a nice flow, left to right, just like you read a book, and you've got then you don't feel bad about going and looking again. But if you interrupt yourself, interrupt your what's going on, it translates as ugly, and you just go on and look at the next bird. You don't stay with it. So
Uh,
that's the important thing to remember in carving and shaping form. You want to have that same principle apply. Okay. And then you got the pinky.
but that's what the other side looks like, Tom.
I like the length of the long one you got there much better than the other side. It should be about the same length.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's an easy solution.
I know. And Tom suggested that it might be too long. I think your long feather though goes up under the other wing, doesn't it?
Almost, yeah.
Well, does it?
No.
I'm talking about on the right side of the bird. There should be another long one in there then somewhere. It should go up under the top wing or come down from there. Unless
Yeah, one fell out.
I'm talking about the other side, actually.
That's what they look like there.
You need some of that little, that's
Double sided.
a glue stick. You know, it's got a little, you can make it tacky and stick it in there. They're good for sticking pictures on study boards, stuff like that.
There's
Yeah,
the
it's definitely long, but it looks like there ought to be one right directly across from it, Bob. Where's that long? Yeah,
that would be this one here. You didn't want me to make that one too long. I had it
well,
here. Almost.
if that's the longest feather, how many have you got? You only got three?
There's one here too, and there's another one right here.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. I think the one on the left side, the bird's left, is too long, and I think the one on the bird's right is a little bit too short.
What the long? This one here.
Yeah, remember I told you when the wing goes up, the feather they don't droop over as far as the left side.
Okay.
But if you overdo it, that's as bad as underdoing it. So you got to find that measurement. Check out your bird. Check out your mount, and get the numbers of which one is which on your hand. Which one is which of those four fingers?
Well, the wings are open. They're not crossed.
Well, I know, but
They're laying completely different.
they're no. It's just that they're more bunched up on the left side.
Yeah.
They're still the same number of feathers and the same length each. You just got to find where they go. and they would come toward the tip. They'll follow the tip of the wing.
It's these two feathers that are the same on each side right there.
Yeah, but don't you see the big difference between the two?
I could take probably a 1/4 inch off of this one.
Yeah, I think so. I can't tell really from here, but um,
'Cause really, if it came back to,
yeah, with the same type tip on it. Yeah, tapered. Yeah, it would work.
yeah.
At least I'd be happier with it.
And then here's the tail that goes in it, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got it so it's flat on the bottom here where I've set it in. If you look at it on the side, you see there's a step in it right here.
Right.
That's the same thickness as what this is here. So that the feathers that's on the bottom of the tail is perfectly smooth on the bottom.
And that's a professional touch there that would be, everybody needs to learn, even at intermediate stage, because what's intermediate today will be advanced tomorrow. I'm telling you. The carving world is this classification of beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and masters is becoming rapidly moving up. What used to be novice would now be, I mean, it wouldn't even make it through the the intermediate used to be, what we have now is what the novice used to do, and vice versa. The advanced, some of the intermediate carvers are totally, and should be really advanced. I can't really use the intermediate as an example because people sandbag in that category.
Sure do.
I guess what I'm trying to say is the methods and the ability, skill level, and the amount of reference and teaching available now, a beginner can go to master very rapidly.
One bird took me from the novice to the intermediate.
Yeah. Well,
My very first bird I ever carved, I carved as a novelist.
yeah.
And before I made it through the world, I'd gone to 3 other shows with it,
Yeah.
and I was an intermediate. I'd won best of show at 3 different shows.
Right. Well, the same with me. When I started the first year, I won best of show, went at the world. Second year, same thing. And then I had to move up to intermediate. In intermediate, I did the same thing, moved up to advanced, and then advanced, I went to world class. I competed in the world class. I got confident that I could just keep going, but it's a big jump between advanced and the world class. And I've been busting my butt for, I don't know, 10, 12 years trying to place in world class.
It's a big jump from intermediate to advanced too.
It is, Tom.
Oh yeah, it is.
And
Bigger jump as you go up to everything. Even from winning world class to masters is a big jump.
it's been hard for me to try to figure out how you navigate all that. It really has.
I don't worry about it. Just carve
Yeah.
for fun.
Do your best and listen to your instructor, and you might get there.
I carve for fun, but I do enjoy. I don't really care about the ribbons as much as I do of what I want the art to look like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to enjoy it and do your best and strive to do your best always, and it'll come. But you can't get to where I am and relax, because if I say, "Oh, I'm just carving for fun," that's just a cop out for me because my goal has always been to become a master, and I'm not giving up on that goal. All
Vic, I just shortened that feather.
right. Now, if you thin it down a little bit, you'll be right.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't
Talk
seen,
about the width down. Take the width down a little bit.
yeah, I took it, come from here down. I got to take some at the bottom there.
Exactly. Exactly.
It needs to, on the bottom side, it needs to, something like what that line is there.
Okay.
See, I can't hardly see it.
You got it. I think.
So Bob, did you end up carving those?
Yes, I did. I just took that one that I just did right here. Use my little knife to do that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Knife is a wonderful thing to have handy.
And the holly carves very well if you take it nice and thin and work it easy.
Yep. Where did I hear that?
You try to take too big a bite in holly, it just sort of sucks you right in.
Somebody told me that one time.
Yeah, I've heard that before too.
I ain't picking on you, Bob.
But what really works nice on holly is treating it like the old master woodworkers used to do back in the 15th and 16th century. It end up using your knife as a scraper instead of sandpaper. And
Like making a violin.
yeah, that's how the old violin, that's how they didn't have sandpaper. So they'd sharpen their knife and use it to sand everything with.
And if you have just a flat piece of metal and sharpen the edge a little bit and you just scrape it like this.
Yes, like a scraper, and it works out very well. And holly responds well to that type of sanding.
Yeah, because it's got close grain.
Yeah.
Vic, did you ever use English elm?
No, I've never had any. No. Not that I know of.
Somebody wants to give me a bunch, and I don't know what I'm going to use it for if he does.
There's that feather
What's a
there.
bunch of it? What's a bunch of it? What consists a bunch of elm? It'd be good for making a bow. Maybe.
I got about 100 yards board feet of chestnut.
That's
And
good for figure carving and things like that.
I have a bunch of not birch. What is the stuff they make? They brew beer? Beech.
Beech
Yeah.
nut.
It's English oak.
Yeah. I love the trees. They're beautiful.
Yeah. I don't have any place to store stuff.
I know. I'm running out of room, Tom. You can't use my place anymore. I do want to show you something I did though. I got 6 of these right here, and I'm gonna store my feathers. All the feathers you gave me and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna store them and catalog them in here, so I can show for reference. For example, you guys are working on blue wings and green wings. He's working on pintails, so I've got green wing. Hadn't put the blue wings in here yet, but I got them. There's the green wings, and there's gadwall, mallards in here. And I just got them yesterday, so I'm gonna start filing those, stack them up, so I can get to them without having to hunt through everything. Try to go through that big box of feather stuff every time I want something. I'm probably gonna throw some of those away because they're pretty ragged.
Okay.
And I got triplets of some of them, quadruplets. Trying to get a pair, a matching pair, and keep those. But those things have been quite useful. Now you get a chance to use one. Okay, Mark. Let's see what we're going to do here today. You want to do something?
Mhm.
You want to show Tom your results? Let me see what you got there. All right, this mark on the bottom I was telling you about. Let me pin myself so I can see.
Right here.
All right. Right here, this little drawing I was telling you about. You come with that, like so. What I simply do is just turn this down a little bit. I just go right here and lay my knife right there
Mhm.
at the hilt back here and pull this way like this, not this way, here, and turn up. That's all you gotta do, a couple of times.
Okay.
And then just follow your line, see?
Mhm.
And round this on around, take all this wood off back here.
Yeah, that's a lot of wood right there.
Just take it off. And then start rounding. And as you do that, start rounding toward this line, center line, and to follow that circle. Now, don't carve away your flank. That's going to be rounded right there.
That again? Say that again? Don't round off what?
Don't round this off. This flank right here, it has to bulge out like this. See? You see that?
All right.
That's actually a group of feathers. That group of feathers is it's on every bird. Let's check it on this one. It's going to be right here. See, separate little group. If you look at it from the side, well, on diver, it blends in. But when you look at it from right here, you see it. See? Right there.
Yeah, the feathers go a different direction.
Yeah, they come from, it's like a little mini side pocket right there. It comes from the body.
How low do they go down?
They go to the tail. Oh, they blend into the,
Bottom,
they
the
blend
bottom
in.
of the tail?
They just blend into that. They don't really separate down here.
Right.
They come
The
this
bottom
way.
of the tail, right?
I'm sorry?
The bottom of the tail, right?
They come, they part of this rounding. See where I cut this in and rounded it?
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. See, from when I did this, I did the same thing I just showed you. I cut it in right here and rounded this off back here. And that's what you got to do with this.
Okay.
All right. Now, one of the things you might want to do is don't try to make that jump from here to here all at once. You know, draw your line in there somewhere equal from the center line, maybe a couple of lines like this. Go to that line first. And then next step would be go to the center line. That way you'll keep it full. You won't make a V there. You don't want to make a sharp, flat cut. That'd be rounded. So you can put an arbitrary line anywhere you want to, anytime you want to, just to help you balance things. But make sure you do those lines on the same on both sides and carve to it, and then take another step and then go to that. That's just a general method of rounding things. And after a while, you don't have to put the extra line there. You can visualize it and you can see it. So this teaches the eye to see those shapes if you just break them down into smaller segments and make sure you've got the same lines on one side as you have on the other. That makes sense? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that's basically the essence of the way I teach. And the 8 points and the 8 steps of rounding is all about that, breaking it down into eighths instead of quarters or halves or 16ths if it need be. You know,
Yeah.
whatever you need at your skill level. And I've never gotten away from breaking it down at least in those 8 steps. But I've never had trouble with symmetry. Except by here.
No, I understand what you're saying. You want both sides equal. I mean,
Absolutely. And you want to do everything you can mentally to train yourself to see that. I mean, you hear people say, I see the bird in the wood. That's bull. That's bull. You don't see no bird in the wood. You got to have some method of visualizing it. If you do, and it's hard to visualize 8 steps or 22 steps, which basically is what it amounts to, 22 steps. But you got to break it down mentally first before you can do it physically, is what I'm saying.
yeah. And it's the same thing on anything you carve? Duck, any bird, any.
I don't care if it's a little, yeah, I don't care what it is.
Have him carve that ball, Vic.
Yeah,
That,
carve-
that-
I'll tell you a good exercise is carve a golf ball. Just
yeah,
take a little cube of wood and try to carve a golf ball and make it the right size, the right diameter.
Uh-huh.
the other key is
How straight you can make it roll.
when you put it on the table and you roll it, it'll find all your mistakes because it'll head in the direction where those lumps are.
We used to have school carve the picnic of all our students every spring. And we have a contest. And that one year we had a great contest. We had about 10 or 12 people participating in it, carving the golf ball. And one of my students beat me, and that upset me. But anyway,
Sorry, Vic.
what you?
I know.
It was Michael Murphy.
I know.
Anyway, we had fun with that. And
I carved one that be cheap, but I cheated.
we had judges that
I put it in the lathe and turned it around.
No. You're not supposed to do that.
you
I
did,
did that as a joke to Vic.
yeah, right. I hope you didn't enter it.
No, I just brought it to class, but it was perfectly round.
Yeah, you see, that was one of the rules. You had to use the same tools that you normally use in carving class.
Uh-huh.
And our last item that we were going to carve as a contest was a baby chick. Well, it wasn't a baby chick, it was a rubber ducky. I'll show you. It had, it had to look like a rubber ducky, you know, like you put in a bathtub.
Uh-huh.
And so had to float right and everything. And so we hadn't got a chance to do that. We did 2 or 3 people actually did it. But,
I ended up making 6 of them because my grandkids saw it. And Eric wanted 2 of them to put in the bathtub with him. Then Nathan wanted 2. Then Heidi wanted 2. So I ended up doing 6 of them.
yeah, they have to float right, man. They can't float like this or like this. They have to float perfect. You just have to weight it. But that's the fun stuff, you know, we have as a group. But and We had some other suggestions, but I don't remember what there were. But we had 50, 60 people at the picnic, you know. We bring the families, the kids, and all that stuff. You'll see some pictures on my website. They're in there. Class picnics. I think I've got them in there. Yeah. Well, what are you working on?
Well, let me get my picture bigger. I carved that out and rounded it.
Okay.
Rounded this. That's I got to smooth that out.
Well, I got a way to fix that real quick because you're gonna have to narrow your back down some. Um, so basically, you're at this state. You've already rounded this step right here.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So what I want you to do is on your pattern, measure from this side to the center line
Okay.
and try to make that the same thing. Right there where it dips down is where you want to measure from here to the center line. It's gonna be hard to keep it level, but should be about 42 millimeters. That's a blue wing. Not on yours. Green wing's a lot less than that.
Wait a minute. Make sure I get. Yeah. Okay. And to the gap there is a little bit wider. On a flat pattern, there's more space there.
Well, you've got to measure it, look down as if it's on a plane.
Yeah, I
And that's
did.
what you do.
And
What do
it's,
you get?
I get
42.
I got 43.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's pretty good.
43. Yeah. 40. Yeah, mine's 43.
Okay. A millimeter is good. That's fine. 1 millimeter is not going to make that big a deal. When you sand it, just sand it.
I'll just sand it harder.
Sand the hell out of it. That's right.
Okay. So, but you said that this
I thought that might come off if you had to cut that in some, but you could still cut that in some. So you know you got some room there, especially up in that corner there.
yeah. Okay.
Just be sure your wing rounds out from there and doesn't go straight back.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the next thing I got to do is round off the cape.
Hold it up. Yes, sir. Round it off, and you need to take the step down a little bit more toward the pinch point on that cape.
Okay.
And that, even if you have to get more depth in down the middle in the center line.
Okay.
Now let's just readjust both sides there on that.
Okay. I can do that.
Okay. Show us your bird.
Started rounding it off. Does it need to go deeper in here?
It's like the top. You got to bring it in more and show more tail up there next to the rump. Come in a little
This
steeper angle. I'll show
right
you
here.
like that. You see the angle right here? Yours is, you know, show more tail like that.
Okay. So bring this in. Okay.